On this episode, we have four other people in the chat room now, and I was just going to go ahead and start drawing some trees. I'm not really certain what to say other than I stopped smoking. I've got Nicorette gum I'm chewing on. I'm switching my diet from beans and grainy stuff to more floury stuff, kind of like beets and celeries and stuff like that. It'll take me a while to fully get that out of my system, but today I'm going to be drawing some trees on the side. I'm not really certain what to speak about other than perhaps meditation and meditative processes. Let's see if I can get this on there where this treescape can go, perhaps. Yeah, I think I'm going to put a little hill here and then start some trees kind of coming up here. Yeah, I was thinking again um, about the idea of, all right, we got another guest in the room. I was thinking about different meditations, thinking about my political perception of things, how I retain a political outlook on the world, but I've I've dampened that and got into more of a mode of acceptance, kind of realizing that our place in the culture that we live in is also something that's just a part of my being, that I accept my being as it comes about, and I don't make room to develop. I develop frustrations about the world, but I don't allow my politics to override me any longer, so that I get upset at the controlling class. It's more not that I'm happy with the way things are, not that I wouldn't be involved in change if change started manifesting. It's more or less an interest in um, in accepting my position as a matter of fate, as a matter of grounding myself in my presence, as if everything that is happening for a reason relative to my presence. And so I end up accepting things, and then I look for avenues of disagreement, but I don't, voting powers are minimal, and it doesn't change the rudimentary structure of the system that we live in. And so I realize that it's something to engage in as far as making small changes, but the huge possibilities of of changing things radically is kind of a myth. It's kind of mythical, and so I'm not certain what to say about it other than I don't really think that um, accepting oh, let me get that tree in there. I'm going to put another hill right here. See if it's going up. I kind of want this to be a valley that moves upward and then downward on the sides. I think that would be nice. All right, Josh Sixerba. Um, so yeah, I do think that politics is a matter of also accepting it as the form of your soul. The form of your soul resides within the politics that are occurring right now. And on a more youthful or daring age, I would have considered an opposing force, that these are opposing forces within my being that need to be um, looked at and considered to war against. And that can remanifest itself in different ways, but at the current moment, manifestation of negative impulses towards the powers that be are sequestered, kind of put aside, and looked at more as a property of my being as opposed to an outside force. Did I already say that? I think I did. I think I said that like 4 times now. Um, but hey, look at all these people in my room, and none of them are docking. None of them are docking. What do I say? What do I do? How do I do it, guys? None of you guys want to dock and be on my video. Let's put some trees in here. Um, yeah, we are a matter of composite energies. We are an array that's come together, that's manifest through growing patterns, geometrical inorganics. If you break down or weave, is life a type of unlife, or is unlife a type of life? Um, well, you can look at both of them being correct, but to deconstruct it, I always fall back on the idea that we are a type, that the living is a type of death, or life is a type of unlife, as opposed to unlife is a type of life. Um, and that's where I fall back on that. Of course, the deconstructive process always allows you to find a either or and then a both reaction, that we are both everything that we break down, and then we're one, then we're the other, then we're both, and then ultimately we're neither, because we're left as spirits in the material, ultimately affecting our environments in particular ways, particular forms. And what do we have here? Just want to keep on drawing some kind of deciduousy trees. Maybe throw a big pine in here. Happy little trees. All right. Well, we got quite a few going here. What do we got on the typing here? All right. Someone says this painting is going to be epic. I hope so. I'm working on lots of detail. It should take me probably, depending on how fast I go at it, kind of making these videos pulls me into creating the painting at more of a steady level, so I'm processing things a lot faster, and I'm trying to knock it out in a more specific way very quickly, and that's kind of nice. I think that's kind of nice. It helps me out. And so I'm still guessing it'll take me a good month if I do it every day, it should take me a month, maybe a month and a half. Because essentially I have to go over everything I've drawn again, um, at least 2, possibly 3 more times to bring out the color and the dimension and the value. And so it's going to be rough, man. This is going to be a rough ticket, trying to sell everybody on my horse shit, my rambles, for a whole month. Well, I hope so. I hope there's something well worth it. Um, I'm using it as a wall piece because I sell out of a tent at festivals and markets, and I wanted something just to hang on the side of my tent, and you know, kind of be a wall piece. And so that's kind of what the idea is here, is to generate a wall piece. Um, and so I've already got 2 other large paintings. One of them I mounted, but I can unmount it. And then this one, hopefully I get it turned out. And then I got a clown commission that I got to work on, and so I'm kind of excited about that. That'll be kind of a fast, fun painting when I'm all done with this, or maybe at some point I'll intersect this painting with that painting. If anyone wants to dock up, feel free to do it. It'd be just dandy to have somebody else come into the room. Man, at this angle on YouTube, I just look pregnant. I think I'm about 6 months, 6.5 months. But yeah, yeah. I only did one demon fight, you know, in the painting. I have one demon stabbing another one in the ribs, and that's about as bad as I got the fight aspect of things. But I throw in a few more trees here. Couple there. I should throw in a brook or something. Just throwing in a few more pine trees. Yeah, I wanted to get Eric Orwell in, because he speaks of spirit and politics, and he's got a real youthful outlook and perspective on his disgruntled nature towards things. And I wanted to see whether or not he accepted politics as a matter of definition of self, you know, include the external workings as a reflection of one's own personal body politic. Um, so we'll see what he has to say, if I can get him to join. Um, but I don't know. Is that showing up in Tiny Chat? Do you guys see the tree area here, or is that too light? I'm drawing it pretty lightly. Not really showing up. Okay, well, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Well, since I've last been on, I've drawn some sheep right there, and I put in a horse right there, kind of running in the background, and I put in a dog right there that's kind of posting. So I wanted more animals. And then the tree section is right there. It's in pretty light. So not certain what to say on that. It's kind of, it's kind of poor quality. The cameras are so far back. It doesn't always work well. I wish I had more structure. I keep having, I keep wanting impetus to talk about things philosophically, but I have a hard time narrowing it because either I sound like a madman when I talk and nobody can relate to it, or I can get on into argumentative postures with people, and that's a little bit more attractive in general. People tend to fall towards that. Anywho, maybe I'll move the computer on this side. Let me pull up this plum tree, kind of a springy plum tree, and I'll put it on that side. I better bookmark this one. Alrighty. Spring trees in Utah. Where did my plum tree go? Yep. They're very pink-leafed trees. They're really delicate and flowery. There we go. Okay. Add that here. Plum trees in Utah. Yeah, Silent George, Butch. You can post up if you want. I mean, I know that you're a little reluctant to because you don't want to be on film, but at least you can carry on a conversation and make my video here a little more inviting. Okay, let's get the image. Oh, the trees there are kind of nice. Move the conversation this way. Well, Josh H4, Josh Pinhead, you guys are all new to me, I assume. Not certain what to say other than thanks for coming into the room. Contributions are welcome. I'm just going to refill my coffee mug real quick. So I watched Anton's video, another conference report video, went back to correspondence theories of truth videos, listened to some of that, and I have to say that the idea that Anton was putting forth as far as authentic spirituality is kind of a through and through empathizing, and of course I'm going to paraphrase, but an empathizing or a connectedness with one's with the universe, with your environment, with the landscapes, the ecosystems. Like, it's finding out what it is you love and what it is you identify with in a spiritual sense, in an empathetic, emotional, having an empathetic or emotional relationship with your environment. Seems as if that's kind of a route to spirituality. And at one point, I really had to just release my thoughts altogether, like open myself up as a kind of a vessel or a channel to whatever the environment is going to throw my way, and then categorically kind of recombining the events as if they take on a sense, start to take symbols on in a sensing pattern, and just open myself up as much as I could to reading my environment as if there's agency in the environment. And what I found is that I believe there is agency in the mundane, in the inorganic, in the environment, that one has to become aware of it. And it's weird to say that, but it almost feels like it's indefinitely the case that one's openness to their environment yields an input from the environment as if it's intended, as if there's intent. And that's part of my madness right there, is being so open as to say that there's agency in the world. A lot of people can't do that, nor would they want to do that. If you do that, you're already losing your groundedness of rationality by attempting to reach out and grant agency to your environment. So it's a type of madness practice, but it's a meditation on presence, being present, being open, and really hoping that things start to come together that make a particular type of sense. Somebody was asking me, Carla was asking me, what do I think about truth? What truth is. And I even said, truth is an agreement, truth is what works, truth is what corresponds with reality. But I also put that truth is a seduction, that besides just truth as agreement, it's a coherence. As one is coherent with their environment, they find a coherence, or it's radically symbolic. That truth is a spotty symbol that comes together, that emanates a meaning. That truth is a form of manifestation of meaning. If one can derive meaning from something, then one is finding a truth in their reality, in their environment. It's almost the very nature as one's phenomenology. As phenomena, your experience with the world. If you experience the world in a particular way, then you can sense the symbols in your world as having a type of meaning to you, and that meaning to you is a type of truth. It's a type of relationship. And so it's weird, because I'm trying to smear out the definition of truth. I'm trying to extend it into realms where it's more of a GUI interface with one's environment. Sensing it as an interface is a form of truth. But yeah, it's weird. Okay, and what else to talk about? This whole idea of somebody attacked me because I told Amendum that he wasn't a scientist. And I said he wasn't a scientist not because he creates models or theories that could be relative to science, but that because he is he's not partial to the mathematics which describe the physics. he's more or less trying to make a coherent theory of physics and put it forth, and then let the physicists see whether or not it actually has consistency. And so he's putting forth models, and that's kind of scientific. I mean, who am I to really try to gut that? And yet at the same time, I was just getting to the idea of practices. You know, if somebody asks him what he does he answer, "I'm a scientist"? You know, "I'm a physicist"? Is that in his realm of self-consideration, self-definition? Does he really feel that way? Does he really feel like he is a contributing scientist and adding to the scientific community? You know, those are thoughts that I've had where I would say that he did. Now, what is everybody typing over here? Let's see, mine is the venom with the cobra coming out of the eye. He's on the edge of knowing, and that is a great place. You need not a god. Professor A, I assume Anton. Space is scary, but humans like danger. Can't know that. Could believe. I don't have belief. Truth is what the evidence shows is true. It's a definition. We have no other way of learning than testing. Life is not simple but complex. Yeah, that was a good conversation. I never claimed to know jack shit, but I'm trying to learn more. Yeah, well, you know, dialogue would be great, guys. here I am left trying to pull a scrap of a monologue out of thin air, and left with like, I'm not really certain what it is I want to discuss, and if I kind of ramble, you know, I don't really want what I'm saying to be taken as gospel for what my philosophy is, but more or less just an expression of me in the moment, trying to fill time, if anything. All I'm doing is network time filling, and but this idea that truth, you know, the idea that truth is always something that is evidenced as opposed to something that's agreed upon. I mean, truth upon agreement is such a huge philosophical fact, if you will, that everybody agrees on certain things, and that's what defines what the normative values are within a culture. And so, you know, if you kind of look at 2 + 2 = 4, and then you go back to it the next day and it still equals 4, and you go back to it the next day and it still equals 4, and before you know it, you have this consistency. So there's truth upon consistency, but alphabetacy and communication of what two-ness is something that you learn culturally. You had to agree upon it before you started to make any evaluations about what it might be. And so there's this whole idea of, you know, like smoking is bad for you, or eggs give you cholesterol, or whatnot, that were scientific, and then later on they weren't found to be necessarily sound science. You know, and science then rebutes its own previous claims with new claims, the new paradigm. But I'm saying nothing. I am saying absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, it's almost worth not uploading this video. I think what I should do is just delete the video that I just made, because it's complete nonsense. And then demand, like absolutely demand that one of you guys fucking talks, so I have another voice in my head, because I need to muse while I draw. I can't be self-musing. It's not cool to be self-musing. I need someone else to muse for me, muse on my behalf, ramble into my ear. It's just that important. It's just that important. I better do it. I better get someone or I'll start kicking people and I'm pissed. I'm absolutely pissed off. No one wants to play my game. Maybe if Amendum came in the room again, I wouldn't kick him this time. I think after last time kicking him might, put him off to coming back, but probably not. He probably saw it as just entertainment, banning him from my room. Hopefully that's how he saw it. All you guys are seeing is my back, my ass end over there. So I apologize about that. And I'll be back over there to read the comments in just a second. Yeah, what to say? What to say about accepting one's political status, one's position in politics, emulating yourself the best you can within the current political structure and the current political paradigm, to not want to war against it, but to accept the movement as if you're riding a boat, a tide in a current. It's kind of a sad state of affairs, but it's also a pleasant state that that people can get into. And it is weird having a small group of individuals trying to determine the destiny of everybody else, to dictate how it is they should perceive the universe and how it is they should go about interacting with one another. It is a sad state of affairs that happens. But where does one ultimately find peace in their being instead of an aggression, a mode towards aggression, a mode towards trying to sabotage one's environment, as opposed to within the rules that are given, find an art form of expression, to find some sort of manipulative presencing of their being that that affects others that are also locked within that system. I mean, it's like Eric Orwell had said. He said that you can't really change the government unless you had the military on your side. I mean, all the politicians are bought out. They already agree with the whole notion of the Federal Reserve System, the money system as it's put forth. People anticipate a collapse, and yet the economy it's like a kind of a slinky. They distribute money to larger banks in larger masses, and then they distribute smaller amounts. But there's a bit of flexibility. If the bank loans out more money, then they start contributing more money to that bank, and they can seize up, pull up the money, restrain the presencing of the money, and it's kind of an active, economy is kinetic, and that it's an active sort of placing of funds into banks in a way so that the banks are more active, but they're also, it's a statement of the condition of the bank as the bank is distributing its funds, loaning out its funds. It's taking it's giving the banks a grade, like in school, and if they have an A grade, they're loaning out lots of money, then more money is distributed to them. But the smaller banks are always given lesser amounts of money than the larger banks by the Federal Reserve as far as distributing funds, and that is at 80 something billion dollars a month that we're increasing. We're inflating the US dollar per banks, and this overinflation is said to come to, that it will come to a screeching halt, or we will have such an overinflated economy soon enough that the value of the dollar will drop significantly. And yet that's why we got this, what's it called, APEP, or the Pacific Trade, the new Pacific Trade Agreement, where we essentially use our capitalism to then enslave others via corporation by incorporating other countries and their labors and their imports, and inviting them once again to use and collaborate in the US dollar so more distribution of the funds can continue. And the whole idea is to continue to just keep on increasing fundage and generating relationships with other nation states to keep using the dollar to a point where the hope is that the dollar will eventually take over. But at the same time, it's as if the Federal Reserve wants other currencies to exist so that there's trade and hence profit based on trading processes. Whether or not the dollar drops relative to the yen is interesting relative to the euro. I don't know, these trade practices, these trading of currency practices are rather, whoa, what have I done there? What am I doing? I don't want another tree like that there. Okay. Wow, 7 of you in the room. Okay, what are you guys are? Das Pook, you need to watch some Sagan. Give him a fucking muse. I'm chilling out. Go ahead, people. I'm going to share you publicly on G+. Yep. Did you say WAF? Laugh out loud. I do realize not all rich people are not douches. You have some. Oh shit, here it comes. Right on. Right on, right on. Well, I take the Chinese chat computer and show you guys the trees over here, but it's too it's a desktop. It's a real heavy computer, so I don't want to do that. But I would like to show off what it is I'm doing. I think, yeah, I'll put some little trees here in the background, kind of going off into the distance. Lots of little trees going off into the distance. I don't know. I hate the idea, I'm drawing all this stuff, but I realize I got to come back and paint it all, and that's that's just scary as hell to me. Like, what am I doing to myself? Each one of these lines that I'm putting, I got to go over with paint. I'm going to drop in something here and form fit it, make it work. Just make it work. Okay, and then we'll stick a big pine tree there right in the front. Take away some of that business. There we go. There we go. Well, swoosh, guys. Let's see what kind of long, dumbass video I created here. We're going on 40 minutes. 40 stinking minutes. I got 7 of you in the room. None of you are going to dock. Come on, guys. What we need is a fight club. We need the Facebook Fight Club or the YouTube Fight Club, where you get on deck, and it's not just a matter of ideas. It's actually boxing and philosophy. 1 round of boxing, 1 round of philosophy, and then you keep going back to boxing and then philosophy again, and it becomes this nonsensical, reiterative, like cacophony of violent interaction until whomever comes out ahead based on popular vote, unless there's a knockout, wins. And only because I'm a man of big stature do I think that's a good idea. If I was a man of smaller stature, I would think that's not very fair, you know, so. Hey, that's what I can do. I can call a friend on the phone. I had a friend over here earlier, but he took off. I told him I might do a tiny chat. He would be welcomed to do that. Right on. Okay, let me step back here a second, take a look at the painting, see how it is it's going, what it is I'm missing. Some trees there. I should probably put more trees in the background. A little smaller group of trees here, but you guys are typing stuff. Yep. Alright. Right already. Keep putting these little pine trees in. I don't know why I keep thinking pine trees are the best darn trees in the world. Peppermint and then chocolate candies, champion sex, and a girl named Sandy. Let me draw all these dandelions. Before you know it, then I'll get sick of drawing dandelions. Thousands of them, thousands of dandelions. You know, I've never had dandelion wine. There was a beer made out of dandelions. It was kind of bitter. We tried that once. Alright, well, since this video is absolutely bullshit, I'm going to call it the bullshit video, the do not listen to my bullshit video, and we're going to stop it right now. Let me just get a close-up of what I've done for the record. Alright, trees, a few dandelions, a couple more trees there, and I think I already showed off this little brook over here. Yeah. And as you guys can see, I'm the only one on Tiny Chat. No, I have 7 people, none of them are docking. It doesn't help me out, no siree. Okay, well, I regret to inform you that if you listen to this whole video, you've been sucked into my bullshit, and there's no damn decent content to actually listen to here. And again, if you disagree and you think I've done well or something, then leave me a note saying so. Otherwise, I will just assume that I've produced a crap video, a junk video, as Forever Wolf Films would say, as Amanda would say. Okay, back to you guys. We'll do another one later. I guess this one's for me. And thanks for liking my mohawk. Why do I end with such a dumb line? I don't know. It's kind of nice, so it's kind of grown out. Okay. 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 Okay.